Set can do some nasty things like create a Trojan. So I'm going to choose option 3, which is the third-party modules. Now before continuing, you can see that I have the option to update the Metasploit framework. That's because some modules of Set work with Metasploit. Anyway, this is very easy. See how the creation of the Trojan is now really very easy? Now you have 2 options in the third-party modules. We have Rate, Remote Administration Tool, Tommy Edition, and create the payload only for the first option. And the second option, Java Applet Attack, is really the same author but works on Java. Okay, so now whichever you choose, go for the first option, and there's an IP address to connect back on. Now, whether it be a public IP that you own or a private LAN network, you can use your host IP. So I'm going to type ipconfig to know what my IP address is, and it's 109. So the IP to connect back to is 192.168.0.109. And whichever server you wish to list, the default will be 8080. If you wish to change that, go ahead. I'm going to keep the default. Now, should the Trojan be persistent? Yes or no? It depends. I'm sure you know by now what that means. Persistent Trojan or not. Give a name to the Trojan, and now here's something strange. Even if I give it a name, it will always be with the Trojan of the same name, which is RATM. Now, I give the name mytrojan.exe, so you see that the Trojan has been exported, and this is the name of it. Anyway, that really doesn't matter. Now, we can change the name later on, so we'll start the server. Before starting the server, I'm going to proceed here. I'm going to change the directory to root, and the location is .set and ls. I can see the Trojan and some options for the set toolkit. You can copy the Trojan to any location you want using the command cp to copy the Trojan. What you should do now is send the Trojan to someone and coerce the victim to run the executable. You can append it with something like a PDF, let's say, just to hide it. And here we have started the rate server, welcome and all that stuff, some information. Now you're expecting that someone has already run the Trojan. So you can choose one of the options right here. Let's say we choose option 1, list all clients. There are no clients. But in case you have the executable running on some other machine, you'll see the connection here. Who are the active clients? Remove client, and so on. And 99 to stop the server. Now, the difference between persistent and not persistent, if you've chosen the ratem.exe to be persistent, the connection would come back later on when the operating system is running. So at this time, you have created a Trojan that runs only once when it's executed by the victim.
So, Ammon, one thing I also want to bring up, as we're kind of rolling down the hill here, a fake SMS can cause a lot of damage to financials.
That's a good point.
The victim receives an SMS appearing to be from his bank, right, and is advised to call the bank at a specific number. The victim calls and will be prompted with security questions and his credit card number plus the security code.
That's right.
And that's how the hacker can now make purchases using the victim's money.
Now there are plenty of mobile applications in the App Store, and not really much control over these applications. So a hacker can repackage an application and include malware in it. Sometimes it's not only about the malware, but about the permissions that the application requires to be installed. Let me give you an example. Let's say a calendar app does not need permission to the camera and mic. So what's this application going to do with them, right? Well, an application with the right permissions can easily turn your phone into a spy.